minute of the three added on have gone. Here's Messi!
There are seasons in football that are great. Some seasons are legendary. And then there is Lionel Messi's 2011-12 season, the one that feels more like a video game in cheat mode than real life. This was the year defenders lost sleep, goalkeepers had nightmares, and football fans around the world kept asking themselves if what they just witnessed was possible. Today, we're analyzing the absolute dominance of Messi's most jaw-dropping season. It is impossible to start this journey without first setting the scene. By the summer of 2011, Messi was already a superstar. He had 3 Ballon d'Or awards, countless highlight reels, and a reputation for making the extraordinary look effortless. At just 24, he was in the prime of his athletic life, surrounded by one of the most gifted squads ever assembled. Barcelona under Pep Guardiola had already rewritten the book on how football could be played, and Messi was the player who made their ideas come alive. Fans expected brilliance, but the scale of what came that season was something few could even imagine. For those who love numbers, the numbers from that campaign still sound almost unreal. He scored 73 goals in 60 games for Barcelona. On top of that, he assisted 29 more, giving him over 100 goal contributions in a single season. No one in Europe's top leagues has matched that since. In La Liga, he found the net 50 times, a record that still stands. And in the Champions League, he scored 14, including the famous 5-goal haul against Bayer Leverkusen. He did it all while playing more minutes and more matches than at any other point in his career. Watching him that year felt like watching someone play in fast forward while everyone else moved at normal speed. Multi-goal games became a common occurrence. He had 12 matches with at least 2 goals, 7 hat-tricks, and 2 occasions where he scored 4. That night against Leverkusen, when he put away 5, became one of those football moments that people still bring up whenever his name comes up. There was a sense of inevitability about him, as if each game was just a new opportunity to see how far he could push the limits. Barcelona's season as a whole wasn't their most decorated. Real Madrid were chasing history of their own under Jose Mourinho and ended up winning the league with 100 points. In the Champions League, Barcelona were knocked out by Chelsea in the semi-finals. Yet, in the middle of all that, Messi delivered performances that seemed to rise above whatever the team's results were. Even when trophies slipped away, his personal form remained a constant source of awe and discussion among fans and pundits. Part of what made that year so special was how his role had evolved. Earlier in his career, Messi had been a winger who relied heavily on his speed and dribbling. By 2011, Guardiola had shifted him into a central role as a false 9, where he could influence play in more areas of the pitch. He dropped deep to collect the ball, linked up with midfielders, and then arrived in the box at the perfect moment to finish moves. This shift didn't just make him more dangerous, it made him the focal point of almost every Barcelona attack. And the efficiency that year was remarkable in every sense. Messi scored at a rate that almost defied logic, finding the net every 71.5 minutes across all competitions. For most players, scoring once every 2 or 3 games is considered excellent form, yet Messi was scoring more than once a game while maintaining a level of consistency rarely seen in football. He needed fewer than 5 shots on average to get a goal, a ratio that speaks to both his decision-making and his ability to execute under pressure. Many strikers require volume to find their rhythm, but Messi's rhythm seemed constant, his touch and finishing sharp from the first whistle to the last. Analysts often highlight that season as an example of a player performing far above expected goal numbers. Chances that might have been half opportunities for others became goals in his hands, or rather, at his feet. He was patient in front of the goal, rarely lashing at the ball. Instead, he waited for the fraction of a second when the goalkeeper committed or the angle opened. Then he would place the ball exactly where it needed to go, making it look effortless even in the tightest moments. Some fans argue for other seasons as his best. The 2014-15 treble-winning year comes up often because of the balance between his goals, assists, leadership, and the silverware he helped win. Some prefer the earlier seasons when his dribbling seemed unstoppable at full pace, or the later years when he finally lifted trophies with Argentina. But if the conversation is about the most dominant individual season, the one where numbers and performances peak together, 2011-12 usually ends up on top. The highlights from that campaign are etched in football memory. The chip against Malaga, the 5 against Leverkusen, the 4 goals against Espanyol to hit 50 in La Liga, the free kick against Atletico Madrid that curled perfectly into the top corner. His goals came in every shape and style, from low finishes, bending shots from outside the box, dribbles through packed defenses, and even the occasional header. There was no single way to stop him because he was constantly changing how he attacked. His playmaking was just as important as his finishing. 29 assists meant he was creating almost as many goals as he was scoring. He averaged more than 4 successful dribbles per match, pulling defenders out of position and opening space for others. His movement off the ball was as sharp as his work with it, drifting into gaps where defenders lost track of him. The understanding he had with teammates like Dani Alves, Xavi, and Iniesta made Barcelona's attack unpredictable and fluid. Even without diving into the numbers, the feeling around Messi that season was different. Every time he got the ball, there was a hush, a shared sense of anticipation that something extraordinary might be about to happen. Defenders would tighten up, the crowd would lean forward, and the pace of the game seemed to bend toward his next move. Barcelona's play often felt like it was building toward those moments, patiently shifting and passing until Messi found space to receive. When he did, the outcome was rarely ordinary. Sometimes it was a burst of dribbling past 3 players, sometimes a perfectly timed pass, and often it was the calm finish that left the goalkeeper rooted. For many younger fans, this was the season that shaped how they understood football. It was not just about winning matches, it was about watching the game become art in real time. Teams tried everything to contain him. Some parked buses in front of the goal, others doubled or tripled up on him, but few had success. His ability to switch roles mid-match made him almost impossible to plan against. One moment he would be pulling strings from midfield, the next he would appear in the box to score. This adaptability kept opponents guessing, and it meant he could influence games even when tightly marked. When the conversation turns to the greatest seasons ever, other names and eras always get mentioned. Cristiano Ronaldo had incredible scoring years. Gerd Müller once set records that seemed untouchable, and Pele's numbers from his era are still jaw-dropping. But in the modern game, with its physical demands and defensive structures, Messi's 2011-12 season is often used as the measuring stick. No one has scored 73 goals for a European club in a single season since, and no one has matched the complete blend of scoring and creating he showed that year. That form carried into the next calendar year, when Messi scored 91 goals in 2012, breaking another long-standing record. It's easy to forget that this run wasn't just about one season. It was the peak of a longer period of dominance where he seemed untouchable. In some matches, he scored more goals on his own than the opposing team had all season in their league. The consistency was almost as impressive as the highs. As the years went by, his role changed again. Injuries and age shifted his game toward being more of a deep playmaker, but the influence never went away. He went on to lift the Copa America, finally claim the World Cup, and break records in different leagues. Yet, whenever people list his greatest achievements, that 2011-12 season always gets a special mention because it represents a version of Messi that was at his most explosive. Recreating that in the modern era feels close to impossible. The game today has more squad rotation, more physical demands, and more tactical systems designed to share the workload across the team. Players rarely play as many minutes as Messi did that year, and few are given such a central role in every attacking move. The combination of circumstances that allowed him to hit those numbers may never align again. For fans who lived through it, the memories are still vivid. The anticipation before a match, the expectation that he would score, the disbelief when he kept outdoing himself week after week all left an imprint. The highlights have been watched millions of times, and the discussions about that season still spark debates online and in living rooms. It wasn't just a great season for Messi. It became a part of football history that people refer back to again and again. That campaign sits at the top of his career like the highest peak in a mountain range. It was the point where all his skills, all his experience, and all the right conditions came together perfectly. Whether you watched it live or discovered it years later through compilations, it leaves the same impression. This was football at its most dominant and most elegant. It remains a season worth remembering not just for the numbers, but for the way it made people feel about the game. And it's a wrap for today's video. Thank you for watching till the end. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the legacy of Lionel Messi, so leave your comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next episode.